Hey, good morning. I'm coming to tell you guys about a dream that the Most High gave me last night. I actually had two dreams. I think the night before last I had about five dreams. The Most High gave me about five dreams. I kept waking up and having another dream, and they were all different dreams. But last night, when I went to sleep, when I woke up, it seemed like I was in a house or something. And I left the house and I went out to some gathering area, maybe like a restaurant, a cafe. And afterwards, I went over to an Airbnb. Now, I had a key. I went inside the Airbnb and a girl met me there. This black female. She's very pretty. She wears glasses. She had like short hair, like they used to wear in the '90s. And the this black female, she met me. I don't remember her name, but she had a familiar face. I think I might have known this girl in high school or something, but it's been so long. I don't remember her name. And we sat at the table inside this Airbnb. And I was explaining to her that the Airbnb belonged to a friend of mine. Even though my friend doesn't actually have any Airbnbs, he has quite a few residential properties though. And we were sitting down at the table having drinks, and the girl, we were laughing and talking, and after a while, the girl was like, "Okay, well, I guess I better, head home before it's too late." And it seemed like it was nighttime. And I was like, "Okay, you sure you're good? You haven't had too many drinks to go home?" She said, "No, I'm fine." So I told her, let me give you a tour of the Airbnb. So I took her around the Airbnb, and it was two levels, kind of like a loft or something. You could see both levels from standing downstairs. We left that uh, table and went into the kitchen, which was very large. It was a huge kitchen, and on the other side of the kitchen, it was a what was it? It was like two beds in an L shape. There were smaller beds, like a double twin size or a small full size bed. Um, then above that was a second level that you could walk up to and walk on, but it was not a barrier on the second level. You could look down and see everything, or from the first level you could look up and see everything. And as I toured her around the place, I looked and I saw that it looked like the shower piping, like the shower pipes were exposed, like someone had taken a sheetrock down, or it needed to be fixed. And there were some things in the house that needed to be fixed. It was like sheetrock missing, um, just minor repairs that needed to be done. So I walked her around the house, and then I was like, all right, let's go ahead and head out. So when we were heading out, I looked over and I saw this Gentile girl that I used to work with years ago. I'm not going to say her name. I saw her, and then I saw this older woman, this older Gentile woman, come in with the key. And I suddenly noticed that me and the Hebrew woman that was visiting me, we were walking out of the house on a bridge. And the Gentile woman and the younger Gentile woman, they also decided to turn around and walk out of the house along with us, but they were on another bridge. So we were on a bridge on the left and they were on a bridge on the right. And I was explaining to her something. Oh yes, I was explaining to the Hebrew woman. I was like, I was gonna get into Airbnb before coronavirus came to Earth. I was like, I'm glad I did it now because a lot of people aren't traveling. And so the Gentile woman on the bridge next to us, walking out of the Airbnb, said, "Oh, coronavirus has been here for a long time. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for many years, and what we used to do is just cut the virus off." And I was like, "What do you mean cut the virus off?" And she said, "We used to just cut off the person's arms, feet, legs, whatever. We just cut it off, and then there would be a meaty growth." This is what the nurse told me. There would be a meaty growth. And she told me she started cutting the meaty growth off of the limbs that had been removed and putting them on sandwiches and then meatloaf. And she started eating these, like, they were like coronavirus tumors. They were like a meaty growth on these amputated limbs. And she would cut them off, cut them off of the arm or the leg or the foot, and she would put them on sandwiches and eat them for lunch. And me and the Hebrew, me and the Hebrew woman was like, "What's wrong with this lady? Is she crazy?" Or I was like, "Maybe she's saying that to us to gross us out or something." So we left, and I saw when I was outside, either before I went into the Airbnb or after I left, I saw this older woman that I used to go to church with way back in the 90s. I saw her walking down the street. She stopped and looked at me and smiled, and she left. And I was like, okay. So then I woke up. Now, the next dream I had, I was up for hours. I couldn't go to sleep. I found out, I think there was an earthquake here where I lived last night, but I didn't feel it. So when I went back to sleep around 3 something in the morning, I had another dream. And in this dream, I don't remember everything, but it started out, it seemed, with me helping my brother make a delivery order. And over the phone or on the internet or something like that. And afterwards, I live in South America right now, in a large city, and I live in an apartment on the 4th floor. In this dream, I was in South America, and it seemed like I was with a Hispanic guy, like a Latino guy, and he was at my apartment, and I was showing him how clean the air. I was telling him that the Most High is cleaning the air, and he's cleaning up the sky, because during the coronavirus, all the pollution, most of the pollution is gone. So he was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. So I walked him over to the window and I showed him, and we looked outside, and the sky was so clean. I live at a mountaintop now in everyday waking life, and so I was looking at the mountain, showing him the mountain, and before us, across the street, there was this building. We could see some stars, even though it was daytime. We could see a few stars in the sky, but before us, there was a building across the street, and the building was very tall. I've never seen this building in my neighborhood, but it was very tall to the point where it seemed like it went up so high up into the sky that it stopped, and then there was just sky, and then the building started again. It was like the building was built on top of the sky. So again, to explain that, it was like that there was a building, and then there was just sky here, and you couldn't see the building anymore, and then above there was a building again, and it was very clean. That the sky was so pure, and it seemed like I knew that man. I don't know. I can't think of who he is. I couldn't think of who he is when I woke up. But if you guys have any interpretations of this dream, let me know. I feel that the first dream was about many of the Gentiles in the Americas that have been given the coronavirus. They've eaten it somehow. I don't know how to explain that right now. I don't know if it's from speaking negative words. I don't know, but it's like it's something that they are being forced to dine on or forced to eat from, whether they want to or not. So I've before this happened, I don't think I had dreamed of Gentiles in a while. Back in the early days, I was dreaming of Gentiles often. I don't think I've dreamed of Gentiles in a while. So again, if you guys have any questions or comments or interpretations, please let me know. And it's good to speak with you guys again.